always in my mind to talk to civil engineering people, because they are the most important stakeholders in this game of department that which if it decides to do harvesting, the entire thing is done. Yeah. So another thing that I wonder potential this area had. In fact, the best groundwater came from this Besan Nagar, Valmiki Nagar, and so on. Up to Muttukadu. So this is what used to be called the Southern Coastal Aquifer. And why was the water good? The reason is very simple. It's all sandy beaches, and any amount of rain will get harvested by itself without any human intervention. Completely pave the setback area, the driveway, not allowing even an inch of soil for rainwater to percolate. Therefore, water started flowing to the street through the gates and started flooding the streets. So this happened on one side. The other side, the water table started depleting. I told you, it was 4 feet below ground level. But then it went up to 14, 15 feet. And the water started becoming slightly brackish. It's always the rest of my life. So I wanted to protect my groundwater. That's how I started my campaign in 1995. I used to go from door to door telling people that how important it is to allow rainwater to percolate into the soil. This is a simple message. Then, no, the good thing is we have some neighborhood newspapers in Chennai. You must have heard about all that. We have one paper called Adyar Times. I went and met the editor and told him, you should, I'm involved in a serious campaign like this, but people are not even willing to allow me inside, leave alone listening to me. So you should do something about it. Then the editor wrote a column, putting my photograph, putting my telephone number, and so on, and said, why don't you allow him inside your complex? And why don't you listen to him? So that is how campaign started building up. Yeah, rain centers are bridges which connect people with rainwater harvesting. See, people did not know whom to approach, how to get it done in their respective homes, how much it would cost, who will do it for them. All these questions had to be answered, and that is why we started this rain center. In fact, I've been telling the government of India that they should start one rain center in every city. Start with metros first, and then go on to other state capitals and so on. And I'm very happy to tell you that ours was the first rain center in the entire country. It was set up in Chennai. It was inaugurated by our late Chief Minister, Jayalalitha, in August 2000. Discuss what is happening in all our cities. See, year after year, we have this problem of floods during monsoon and droughts during summer months. You can see this happening in almost all the cities in India. Floods and drought. Floods happen because of shrinking of open spaces, because of urbanization. We swallow all the water bodies, the open spaces. The water bodies are filled up with garbage, and then you construct either a college or a hospital or a bus stop, terminus, and so on. So rainwater does not find a place to go and get collected. Therefore, it floods the city. The other thing that we are all fond of is indiscriminate paving. We don't even want to leave a square inch of soil anywhere within the house. And the roads are paved from end to end with bitumen. So how will water percolate into the soil? Therefore, it floods. These are the two important reasons for floods, and droughts are caused by overexploitation of water sources. The demand keeps increasing year after year, whereas the supply remains the same. And this indifferent attitude among people living in urban areas towards water in general and rainwater harvesting in particular, and a lack of awareness regarding rainwater harvesting to sustain groundwater. And the only answer to both the problems is rainwater harvesting. Rainwater harvesting being talked about so much now than ever before. Let us see how water was managed for 200 years back. Kings and rulers created water bodies, harvested rain in them. This will be true in every town or every city. You will have traditional water bodies. And there were even community wells on the road. People could go and fetch water from them and use it for their daily needs. But people did not bother to harvest rain because it was done by the kings and rulers. So what happened in the last 100 years? He started buying a plot of land, started constructing a house, and then dug a open well or a bore well to extract groundwater. And therefore, the responsibility now shifts from the kings and rulers to the individuals, obviously. They will have to sustain their groundwater source. Otherwise, their bore wells and wells will go dry. It has gone to the builders now. Because nobody buys a plot of land, constructs a house these days. What do? We go to a builder, book an apartment, a 2 BHK or a 3 BHK. And therefore, it's the builder who buys the plot of land, constructs the high-rise building, digs up, closes the open well which exists, then goes in for a bore well and gives you saline water. And therefore, the responsibility of implementing harvesting now lies only with the builder. The individuals cannot play any important role. The point that I want to drive home is this lack of understanding about rainwater harvesting is one important reason why harvesting is not becoming popular in cities. People have different ideas about harvesting rainwater. Some feel it is an alternative. Some feel it is a new technology that has been discovered. This is just not true. Yeah, a few facts about rain and rainwater harvesting. Yeah, if you look at water on earth, you find them in oceans, which is saline, and then you find them in land, which is supposed to be fresh water. And this essentially comes either from melting of ice or from precipitation, which is rainfall. No other way the earth gets water. And therefore, these are called primary sources of fresh water. And this is what you find in rivers. This is what you find in lakes and ponds. And this is what you find as groundwater. People think they are all different, which is just not true. Therefore, the rivers, lakes, and ponds are called secondary sources of fresh water. And another important reason why harvesting is not becoming popular is that municipal water is not metered, at least in Chennai. I do not know about other towns. So you get plenty of municipal water. Therefore, people are not inclined to harvest rain. Only if the municipal water is metered and if the tariff is high, people will, tend towards harvesting rainwater. This is another major problem why harvesting is not becoming popular. As I told you, rainwater harvesting is not an option. People are under the impression that it's an option. If you have a bore well or an open well in your house, you will have to harvest rain to sustain groundwater source. And Indians were the world leaders in rainwater harvesting. There are evidences to show that people had harvested rain as early as 3000 BC, which is 5000 years back. And our ancestors had understood it very clearly. Every part of India had its traditional water harvesting systems. These have been beautifully documented in a book called Tying Wisdom, which has been published by the Center for Science and Environment, New Delhi. Yeah, this is in Tamil, it is called the Eri. You find them in Andhra Pradesh, they are called Cheruvu in Andhra Pradesh and Kere in Karnataka. They are identical. All the three are identical. And there are 150,000 such water bodies in the three states put together. And most of them are interconnected. What do I mean by that? I'll tell you. This is a drawing of an area. This is the water spread area. These small black spots here are what are called sluices. They are opened every day in the morning to allow water to flow to the paddy fields for irrigation, and then they are closed in the evenings. They're called sluices. And this point is where it overflows. The water body gets filled up, the overflow takes place only from this point. And this goes and fills up the neighboring villages' water body, and so on and so forth. And therefore, they are called chain of tanks. Yeah, and even among these water bodies, there are of two kinds. One is called the system tanks, where water flowing in the river is diverted into such water bodies on both sides. Otherwise, what would have happened? A lot of water would have got wasted by falling into the sea. So that is now sort of conserved in these water bodies. And therefore, there is really no need for interlinking of rivers so far as these system tanks are kept in good shape, because there is absolutely no wastage by falling into the sea. And these are non-system tanks where there is no river. It has its own catchment, fills up the water bodies, and then they are in turn connected. And what is the need for harvesting? Why should I harvest rain? As I told you, rain is the predominant source of fresh water on earth, and cities are not rain starved. We get enough rain. For example, if you take Chennai, the average annual rainfall something like 1.3 meters, which is more than the country's average. Therefore, we should not suffer for water if only we know how to harvest it. And another important point is it rains only for a few days in a year. And unless these are called rainy days, see, these are not well documented by the Indian Meteorological Department. Name any city, you can find out what is the average rainfall and what is the rainy days in that town. And in coastal cities like Chennai, what is not harvested runs off to the sea and gets wasted. The entire thing about harvesting, there are only two things you can do with rainwater. One is you can collect it either in a water body like the irrigation tank, or in a plastic tank or a masonry tank in cities for immediate use, or put it into the soil, which is called recharge, to sustain your groundwater source. These are the only two things you can do with rainwater. You choose the appropriate one depending on which is more relevant. And it's relevant in both villages as well as cities, at the macro level and the micro level. What do I mean by that? In public spaces as well as private spaces. What should the society do? What should you and me do to harvest rain? See, as we all know, it rains only on two places. One is called the rooftop. The other is all around the built-up area. It could be a garden, it could be a paved driveway, right? And that is called driveway runoff harvesting. Earlier, it's called rooftop harvesting. Ensure not a drop goes to the sewer. So rain falling on the roof can be collected in a sump through a first flush arrangement, which is some kind of a filter. If there is a need, you don't get metro water, municipal water, then you can sort of collect your rooftop water. What is a first flush? This is what is called a first flush, because it's the first rain that brings on all the dirt from the roof, and that is collected in the pipe on the left. We close it at the bottom with a wheel valve, and then this gets filled up. It's all dirty water up to this point. Then water starts flowing through this pipe, and this we have directed to this sump, underground masonry tank. This is at the rain center in Adyar, and our sump is 50,000 liters. We have They have made this specifically to collect all the rooftop water. And this first flush should be thought of as a filter. People would like to filter rainwater before they collect it and use it. And this acts like a filter. What does a filter do? It removes the suspended impurities. Now here I remove them as water. Or if you don't want to collect rainwater in a sump, put it into the soil for sustaining the groundwater source through properly designed recharge wells. What is a recharge well? Yeah, this is a recharge well. These are made out of cement rings. Each one is a ring. And these rings are readily available in the market. The diameter of these rings vary from 3 to 6 feet. And the depth of these wells are 15 feet. And they are left empty. You should not try to fill it up with anything. You put a thick cover on top so that even vehicles can go on top. So this is called a recharge well or a percolation. And this is a wrong method for harvesting rain. Instead of recharge well, what they do is they put a pipe, slotted PVC pipe inside and try to harvest rain. The problem with this is the amount of water that can get into the pipe is definitely much less than the recharge well. And secondly, once this gets clogged, you cannot clean it. And therefore, these structures will work for a year or two and then will not work. Whereas my recharge well, a person can get in, de-silt the well and come out and maintain them for years. Some of the recharge wells that we have made are 15 to 20 years old. Now, what do you do with the rain that is falling all around your house? This is called the driveway. This invariably goes to the street through the gate. Runs off to the street, can be intercepted at the gate by a gutter arrangement and injected into a recharge well. So what is a gutter? This is a gutter. For example, these holes, this is a gutter, the entire width of the gate. So that the rain that is falling here flows in this direction, falls into the gutter through these holes, and then I have a recharge well here at the back. This driveway runoff is put into this recharge well for groundwater recharge. You should not collect the driveway runoff in a sump because it will be dirty. It's only fit for recharge. And these are thick lids, vehicles can go on top. They are RCC lids. And this is how it will look like. This will have to be cleaned periodically. So you just remove the lid, clean the gutter once a year or so. What is the role of the state? Society, I've told you. State is, in the past, what did it do? See, our Honorable Chief Minister, Jayalalitha, was so passionate about water and rainwater harvesting. In Tamil Nadu and Chennai were the role models for the entire country as far as rainwater harvesting is concerned. And both Sri Lanka and Delhi wanted to replicate our model. So we were invited to both Sri Lanka and Delhi, where we advised them how to do this. Set up rain centers in both Colombo and New Delhi. Tamil Nadu is the first state in the entire country to make harvesting compulsory in all buildings, old and new. This law came into effect in 2002 October. The deadline was 2003 August. Yeah. So what happened after that? See, 2003 was the deadline, as I told you. 2003 and 4 monsoons were bad, so far as Chennai was concerned. Therefore, we could not really establish the success. Whereas in 2005, it was a record rainfall. Instead of 1.3 average, in 2005 it was 2.5. Then we decided we should do another survey to find out what has been the impact of harvesting and what impact does one expect. So what can harvesting do to a city? It can increase the groundwater level, it can improve its quality and make us less dependent on municipal supply. We can become self-sufficient in water. This happened in Chennai. As I told you, in 2006 January we did this survey and found out that the groundwater levels had gone up by 6 meters. A phenomenal rise in groundwater level. Quality also improved, obviously, because rainwater being pure, it dilutes the excess salts in your groundwater and improves the quality. Another proof came from temple tanks. We have something like 39 temple tanks in Chennai city. Every big temple will have a tank. These are similar to the step wells of North India. Earlier they were dry and used as a playground. You can see this is a temple tank in a place called Mylapore. You can see children playing cricket. It was so dry. Whereas after January 2006, the same temple tank looks like this. So this can happen only if the groundwater levels rise. You cannot fill up a temple tank from outside. So this is similar to an open well at home. The role of the state in future, I'll just mention a few things. See, right now what is happening? The rain that is falling on roads, we call the urban runoff, is being collected by what are called stormwater drains, constructed by the Greater Chennai Corporation. And this is dumped into the Bay of Bengal. All these stormwater drains dump rainwater into the sea. So we have been telling the corporation that they should make sincere attempts to harvest the rain that is falling on the roads also by constructing recharge wells on the road. Number two, they should recover the water bodies in the extended area of Chennai. Chennai used to be 174 square kilometers earlier. Now it has expanded, it's now 426 square kilometers. And there are a lot of water bodies. If you drive through that Pallavaram Road, where you have this Kamakshi Hospital and all that, Torapakam Pallavaram Road, you will see water bodies on both sides. They are called, Narayanapuram, Nanmangalam, Kovilambakam, and so on. These water bodies are being abused now. People are dumping garbage into it. They are letting out waste water into it. So the government should immediately stop all that, recover all these water bodies, and make them as good recharge ponds or as reservoirs. In addition, the third point is there are still a lot of water bodies in the neighboring districts of Tiruvallur and Kanchipuram and also Chengalpet. They have lost their agricultural relevance, most of them. They can be revived, all the encroachments can be removed, the bunds can be strengthened, a lot of rainwater can be collected. And once this is done, Chennai will never face any water crisis in future. There's no need for going in for desalination plants and so on. Sink recharge wells on the roads. This is a recharge well in Besantnagar where I'm living. This is on the road. So any stagnant water on the road will get into these recharge wells. Yeah, another recharge well is being dug on the road once again in Besantnagar. Of course, with the permission of the corporation. You cannot do it without their permission. What is see? This is the stormwater drain that I was mentioning. What you can do is you can intercept the flow in the drain by means of a baffle wall, and then dig a recharge well on the side. Just direct this intercepted water, so that instead of going and falling into the sea, it will get harvested this way. Yeah, the recharge well is being dug. This is the drain. This is a stormwater drain. We have dug a recharge well right inside the drain. The concluding remarks. I would like to tell you something about the importance of open wells. We are closing down all these open wells, which is not good. I will tell you why. The residents do not realize that groundwater is available in two discontinuous layers: the shallow layer and the deep layer. For example, this drawing will tell you, separated by hard rock. This is the hard rock separation. Above, it's called alluvial soil, consisting of clay, silt, and sand, gravel, and so on. And this is hard rock. So there is one source, groundwater source, above hard rock, and one within hard rock. So the open wells were tapping the shallow layer. Our grandfathers used to tap it by digging open wells. We have started closing all of them, particularly the builders. And then they started drilling bore wells. These bore wells invariably tap the deep layer, which is not a sustainable source. Because any amount of harvesting that you do will not percolate beyond this point. This is hard rock. What will happen is this will get filled up. So essentially what is happening is shallow layer seems to be having a lot of water. The deep layer, there's no water. So we are putting money in one bank and trying to withdraw it from another bank, which is not correct. So we have been advising people not to close down open wells if they have one, but if they don't have one, dig a new open well. And another important point is the quality of water in an open well will be better than the quality of water in a bore well because of density difference. The bad water will go down, fresh water alone will float. Water from the shallow source during monsoon. I'm not against bore wells. Please understand. But we should not ignore open wells. We have both. So we call them conjunctive use of aquifers. Use them during monsoon. Use the shallow layer during monsoon and the deep layer during summer months. An open well is a sustainable groundwater source. You can see this is an open well in a place called Guduvancheri. This is a water body. This is the irrigation tank that I was mentioning. You'll see that the water levels are the same. And this is an agricultural well. So I have been advising this builder not to close this well and also maintain this water body in good shape without any encroachment, without any pollution. Only if this water body is in good shape, this well will fetch good water. This also we have been advising the government to sort of mandate it. I'll just show you two case studies. One in MRC Nagar, just close to the beach, 108 apartments. They had open wells. I mean, they had bore wells giving saline water. We went and advised them to go in for open wells, which is just 20 feet deep. And it started yielding very good water. They have even stopped buying tanker waters or outsourcing water. another complex in Virugambakam, 384 apartments. Bore wells had excess iron. And now we dug an open well which is 19 feet deep, which gave water free of iron. And they have now got about 4 or 5 open wells within their complex. Did an audit of rainwater harvesting implementation in Chennai for CMDA. 2 years we did this audit and came out with fresh suggestions, recommendations, and so on. And we completely changed all their old drawings. We said only a recharge well is a good structure. This is the first page of our report submitted to the CMDA. Two corporates are helping us. What we do is we implement harvesting in charitable institutions like old age homes, orphanages, colleges, schools, and so on, which is funded by the corporate through their CSR funds. We have done about 40 projects in the last 5 years. But till now, the slogan has been making water everybody's business. From now on, the slogan will have to be extended. Making not only water, but also rainwater harvesting everybody's business. No more lip service to water and rainwater harvesting. Water and rain will have to be understood beyond words. Water management should no longer be just a bureaucratic exercise, nor an academic exercise. It should be a people's movement. Love water and rain the way we love our children. Yeah, it is true. Every state will have to mandate rainwater harvesting. But that has been one of our suggestions. See, we work, our Rain Center works closely with the Department of Jal Shakti, Government of India. So in a couple of presentations that I made for them, I told them that every state should be asked to mandate rainwater harvesting. So what is happening is, only some of them have done it so far. And even that too, only for new buildings, new constructions, they are doing it. Only Tamil Nadu has done it for both old buildings and new buildings. That is why it was so different from the other states. But the other states are yet to take off in this. I don't know, people take rainwater for granted. And therefore, they feel, the groundwater is a perennial source, it's going to give us water throughout our life, which is not true. The borewells are going deeper and deeper, isn't it? So, with more and more urbanization, with more and more industrialization, see, we have lost all our rivers. Essentially, industrial pollution and a little bit of domestic pollution also. And they have been dammed. Almost all the rivers in this country, we have only dry beds. I don't know. People will have to seriously look into all this. This is a very big issue. That's why I've been telling people, you do it first. Ask your neighbor to do it. Similarly, the entire street should be a harvested street. So if this is done, I'm sure the water problems will get solved. And secondly, if the hotel is going to draw from the deeper layer to deep bore wells, and if you are going to draw from a shallow layer, there will not be any interference. You can still enjoy your shallow layer. I was told is that different states have different policies on rainwater harvesting. Some of them prohibit harvesting, some of them encourage harvesting. There's a big International Rainwater Catchment Systems Association of North America or something. So there's a big body deeply involved in harvesting. But some states, I don't know, for some reason prohibit, because if you harvest, people living in downstream are deprived of water. Some such rule is there.